couple days ago, the free agency period started. We seen trades, players getting signed to the players. I'm gonna start by talking about the one trade that happened, where the Minnesota Timberwolves acquires Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz for like Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, some unprotected first round picks, stuff like that, right? So my personal thoughts on the trade, because I thought they were going to go after Clint Capella, right? Because that's who the Timberwolves initially was going to go after. But now you got a situation to where you allow Cat to play the 4. He can roam around, shoot the 3, whatever like that, right? And you have a situation to where Rudy Gobert will play the 5. So the idea behind that was to allow Cat to roam around, and you don't have to command a whole bunch of usage, and you don't have to set no plays for Rudy Gobert. So they're adopting the Twin Tower philosophy. You know, the same philosophy that netted the San Antonio Spurs all those championships back then. Now, do I personally think Rudy Gobert is a difference maker for the Minnesota Timberwolves? Hell no. I don't think Rudy Gobert is going to be that much of a difference maker. To me, I think the Timberwolves are going to be like a second round at best. I just don't think Rudy Gobert. I just don't think that was a good trade, man. No matter how good, how well intentioned that was, I just don't think that was a good trade, man. So you still got D'Lo. No, I think they traded D'Lo. All I know is that trade, that's not a good trade, man. That trade sucks. How you gonna... Anyway, we're just gonna move on, man. Right? So Zach LaVine was signed to the largest contract in the history of the Chicago Bulls. Now, Zach LaVine had a history of not showing up in big games, in big moments. But this is the guy y'all want to hit y'all wagon to, the Chicago Bulls. My personal thoughts on contracts. What's up, Nate Damp? Look, you have to be a difference maker to me to warrant such a contract, in my opinion. So guys like, you know, Devin Booker and Zion Williamson and Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine. I mean, those are good players or whatnot, don't get me wrong, but they're not great players. They don't make a difference. They don't move the needle, so to speak. Now I understand the dynamics of the NBA nowadays, to where if you really want a chance to win, you got to sign your best players to long-term contracts, and you got to spend the money, or else these players are going to walk. But when you're talking about guys getting the supermax, Intelligence Cycle, what's good with you, bro? Salute to you. When you talk about these guys getting the supermax, they have to be a difference maker. Yeah, NBA, yeah, it's been insane, bro. It's been, man, look. You ain't never lie, bro. Never lie. So, would I personally give Zach LaVine $200 million? No. He just had not shown that he is willing to take the next step. When you fork out that kind of bread, they have to be a difference maker. They have to be the guy that's going to put the butts in seats. He's going to sell tickets. He's undoubtedly and unquestionably the face of your organization. Curry getting the Supermax, no problem with that, right? Giannis getting the Supermax. Nate Shepard, what's good with you, bro? Giannis getting the Supermax, no beef, no issues with that, right? LeBron, Kevin Durant getting the Supermax, no beef with that, right? Because those individuals are difference makers. Those guys, when they come on your team, they move the needle, right? Bradley Beal, yeah, Bradley Beal put up gaudy numbers, but the Washington Wizards hadn't really gone anywhere. Yeah, exactly. Zach LaVine ain't no difference maker. That's why you give him $215 million. I'm like, what is he showing you that justifies him getting that kind of bread? Now, I'm not one to count nobody's money, and I'm all about people getting their bread and all that. You know what I'm saying, right? But is he really the difference maker in Chicago? One can make a compelling argument that he's not. Jokic winning, 2 straight MVPs, getting the Supermax, no beef with that at all, right? But all these other guys, though, the Zach LaVines, the Zions. Look, I was a big Zion advocate when he first came out. When he first came out, he did that 1 year in Duke, and there was a lot of hype behind Zion, right? I was one of them, right? Hit the like, y'all hit the like. But he's been too injured. Now, I think some of that had to do with David Griffin. The more I think about it, the more I came to the conclusion that it was the team doctors and ultimately David Griffin holding Zion Williamson back. I mean, the dude showed you that he's wanting to play, but for whatever inexplicable reason, the Pelicans decided to hold him back. Right? Now, as far as DeAndre Ayton go, yeah, because DeAndre Ayton right now is an unrestricted free agent. So, if he's really unhappy in Phoenix, they have to do a sign-in trade for DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton's way more talented than Rudy Gobert. That wasn't a smart move by the Timberwolves, man. I'm sorry. Look, don't make moves with Danny Ainge, man. Danny Ainge be making out like a fucking bandit, bro. For real. I really do think that Danny Ainge be making out like a bandit in a lot of these trades, man. But the Utah Jazz is going to do a reset. They just hired Will Hardy as their head coach. Will Hardy was the lead assistant to Ime Udoka last year in Boston. So, and Danny Ainge, he's the president of basketball operations for the Utah Jazz. You say, what's the standard for these contracts? Well, the standard is for like a team. So for a team, right, to say like a player goes to free agency, right, they will have the advantage over another team because they can offer them 5 years. The team that they're playing on can offer. This is an attempt to keep players at the team that they're on and not move around anywhere else. The team that they're on could offer him more years and more money. I'm just telling you the whole simplistic way, right? You know, because when we start talking about bird rights and mid-level exceptions and all this other stuff, right? It can muddy the waters, but the standard basically is the team that they're playing on, that the team that the player is playing on can offer him more years and more money. So the maximum NBA contract is 5 years for the team that they're playing on. If a team is looking to, if another team is looking to acquire such player and free agency, whatever like that, the most they can offer him is 4 years. So that's pretty much the standard for NBA contracts. And then they're signing trades and all that other stuff too. But in this general, simple, simplistic sense, the team they're playing on can offer them 5 years. The team that other teams can only offer them 4. So that's pretty much the standard for NBA contracts. Now, as far as, let's see, who else? Hold on. Let me check the comments real quick. Yeah, PJ Tucker contract, 3 years and $33 million and all that. That was pretty much Daryl Morey's way of getting PJ Tucker the bread he didn't get when he was in Houston. And if you look, Philadelphia is starting to become the Houston Rockets 2.0 with Joel Embiid. But if you notice, PJ Tucker's going there, right? But he's 37 years old. Now, when he was younger, like 10 years ago, motherfucker's an elite defender, right? But now, I mean, 37 years old, I don't know. I mean, when his contract is up, he's gonna be 40. He's gonna be 40. So, wow. Yeah, that PJ Tucker's contract is wild. But he'll be back with James Harden. Now, James Harden declined his $47 million player option. The two sides are working on a new deal, and I have no good faith that a new deal is going to get done, right? Now, James Harden getting traded for Kevin Durant, that's an unlikely scenario, okay? If we understand that Daryl Morey and James Harden are BFFs, right? Then why in God's name Daryl Morey would trade James Harden for Kevin Durant? That's not going to happen. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. So that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right. But the Houston Rockets 2.0, it's going to be interesting next season because the pressure's on. The pressure is really going to be on next year for the 76ers. And the Eastern Conference is loaded. Load acquiring Matt Brogdon from the Indiana Pacers. Now, for those of you who may not be aware of what Indiana's doing, right? The Indiana Pacers are going through a rebuild. They're going to hit the reset button, and they're going to build from the talent that they have right on their roster and things like that, right? That's why you're seeing all these dudes like Karis LeVert, all them dudes was getting traded because they going through a rebuild, guys. That's gonna be the cornerstone of. That's gonna be their core, right? Yeah, it makes no sense, right? Yeah, I heard people talking about that. Talk about how James Harden, we should train James Harden. It makes no sense. So I don't know why people out here running their mouth about that, but that's not going to happen. But anyway, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, Eastern Conference is loaded. Malcolm Brogdon being acquired by the Celtics. Now they trade a whole half a team, but no, none of those guys on that team has been impactful players. Daniel Tice and all them other dudes, man, they were impactful players, and Ime Udoka's been running a tight rotation anyway. So this move allows Marcus Smart to move to the 2. Now, one thing about Malcolm Brogdon is that he does have an injury history. He is injury prone. So, I mean, with a guy that's injury prone, while the move seems tantalizing and all that, they have to have a contingency plan to accommodate for whenever Malcolm Brogdon gets hurt. I don't think there's been a year he has been healthy. When he was with Milwaukee, he was hurt a lot. Even when he did the sign and trade from Milwaukee to Indiana, there was games where there were times where Malcolm Brogdon didn't play because he was hurt a lot. But this is, on paper, the Boston Celtics looks like the team that's going to emerge from the Eastern Conference. When you have a situation where you have Jaylen Brown, who's a star. He's not a superstar, but he's a star. Jason Tatum. He's on the fringe of becoming a superstar. I don't think he's that yet. But he's right there on that fringe of superstar status. And then you have, Robert Williams, the Time Lord. You got Al Horford, the Grizzly vet. And then you have Marcus Smart, who's a tenacious defender and all that, with all the flopping and all, right? Aside from all the theatrics, he's a capable defensive guy. Ooh, somebody was speed. But anyway, so, and then Malcolm Brogdon, he's always been known for his defense too. So, and he's a capable scorer. So when you have that dynamic in play, right, assuming they stay healthy, assuming that they play within the team concept and things of that nature, there's no reason not to believe Boston isn't one of the Eastern Conference Finals / NBA Finals threats. And then you have the dynamic with Miles Bridges. Now, I've talked about that on subsequent videos. Apparently, his son has came out and spoken out against Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges has really fucked his career up, bro. He really has. He really has. And Michael Jordan and Mitch Kupchak actually did something right by not signing this guy to a max contract. Now, because the team, y'all gotta understand, team has people that go out and investigate. And people that go out and check out. So if there's anything about you, then there's gonna be, there's gonna be it's gonna be a situation where teams might be hesitant to pay you, right? And that's what we saw with the Charlotte Hornets, right? Now, I'm just speculating, right? Before all that shit came out, right? I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna give you a reason why that the team was hesitant of paying Miles Bridges. He started off strong and he tapered off towards the end of the season. Then the dude has a temper problem. Dude threw his mouthpiece in the stands and hit a girl, and he was fined $50,000 for that. Any little thing like that, a team is going to be kind of weary. And then he's posting pictures of him drinking lean and all this other shit. I'm like, come on, man. And then he can post workout videos all day on his Instagram account. Ain't nobody gonna look at Miles Bridges. Ain't nobody gonna touch that dude. You're done. And then the Charlotte Hornets trying to trade away Gordon Hayward. They tried to trade away Gordon Hayward 2018. That guy that was fired in Orlando, bring back? Just insane. And then the Washington Wizards trades for Will Barton and Monte Morris. And then they sent Ish Smith and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to Denver. Now, this is sort of a homecoming for Will Barton, because I believe Will Barton is from Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. So this is sort of a homecoming for him. Now, the Wizards do have a good but not great team. What's up, Scrub Zero? I think the Wizards have a good but not great team. I think they'll be a player in the Eastern Conference, but do I think the Wizards be this major player in the Eastern Conference? Probably not. Oh, what's up, Coach? Coach Shelton Harris. Coach Shelton Harrison. Go subscribe to the homie. Thank you for your super chat donation. He says Stephen A. Smith is a disgrace to basketball. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let's talk about that real quick, right? So Ticket last night talked about how Stephen A. Smith was behind the scenes. Trey Knights, what's up, bro? Stephen A. was behind the scenes calling the GM of the Brooklyn Nets, asking him to, pleading with him and begging him not to give Kyrie what he wants and all that, right? Now see, that type of shit right there is a lack of journalistic integrity, right? Now, for those who may not be aware, right, a similar dynamic was done with Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo was working with a woman behind the scenes to get his brother off all the sexual assault allegations that was levied against Andrew Cuomo, the then New York governor, right? Now, Chris Cuomo was fired off CNN for that specific reason, when he was out here working behind the scenes trying to get off his brother, right? That's what Stephen A. Smith do. He calls the GM allegedly, and he's, talking about player movement, contracts, all that shit, right? Look, If there's another reason not to like Stephen A. Smith, is that right there. That motherfucker is a goddamn coon to the 10th power, bro. He is. And then I remember another situation to where this clown was running his mouth about Stephen Curry during the infamous Draymond Green and Draymond Green Kevin Durant beef, right? That is tampering. Well, no, that's not tampering because Stephen A. Smith is not a consultant or anything like that, right? He don't have no influence on well, he do have influence, but when it comes to that dynamic, he's not an executive on another team or another. He's a member of the media. When you're a member of the media, you cannot do this type of shit. You cannot be out here calling people, railing on Kyrie. They're giving information to him about Kyrie, and then you know he got known snitches on the team or in the front office or whatever. So they give this motherfucker the information he's looking for, so that way he can go on TV and rail on Kyrie about it. Now, another thing that y'all gotta understand, when it comes to sources and all that, the media be hiding behind that First Amendment in the Constitution, to where they don't gotta disclose their sources or anything like that. Now, he literally tried to ruin the man's money. He literally tried to ruin the man's money and his reputation. Look, whatever you think about Kyrie Irving is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, you got a member of the media not practicing journalistic integrity. His integrity is compromised now. Bias. There's a clear bias against that fucking idiot, and he's been on the jihad against Kyrie Irving ever since that infamous interview on First Take. Remember when he first got traded from Cleveland to Boston? He came on the show and he basically made them two out to be like Stephen A. and Max Kellerman out to be like idiots and all that. Now he goes to the Brooklyn Nets, the team with Kevin Durant, and Stephen A. Smith been on this warpath. He's been on this jihad against goddamn Kyrie Irving. It's sad, bro. It's sad. He's an utter disgrace to basketball, man. And this type of shit right here, man. Look, I'll look at TNT before I look at ESPN. Now I know they got some good dudes on there, and they got the woman I want to go on a date with, and Lisa Salters. Man, look, Lisa Salters, I want to go on a date with you. But anyway, when it comes to Stephen A. Smith, ESPN got to get this clown off TV. Step and fetch, yeah, he's definitely step and fetch, and that's the reason why they're not going to fire him, because he's willing to step and fetch. The dude already said he's a proud company man. The dude came out on a podcast, was like, well, you know, how can I make my boss more money, and then how can I get some of that money? Yeah, but Malika Andrews dating a white dude. Dave McMenamin, that's her boyfriend. A LeBron James flunky. A LeBron James handler. That's who Malika Andrews is dating. You say what? Stephen A. Smith is jealous that Kyrie and KD went to the Nets instead of to the Knicks? Yep. That's all. Look, this motherfucker is an idiot, bro. He's an idiot, and he's jealous of the fact that, yeah, when there was, there ain't enough words I could put together that can describe how much of a buffoon Stephen A. Smith is, man. I don't like that dude, bro. I don't like that dude at all, man. He's a clown, bro. He's an idiot. He's a rat. I mean, and then his dumb ass let the cat out of the bag. He was like, well, Kyrie alleged I was the one that behind the scenes breaking up the team. Yeah, because it was you. Every day you come on TV, if you ain't railing on Kaepernick, he railing about goddamn Kyrie. Oh, Kyrie got to show up to work, and Kyrie got to be. Look, whatever you feel about Kyrie Irving is irrelevant, right? In this particular case, what you feel about Kyrie Irving is irrelevant. The relevant part of this is that Stephen A. Smith compromised the journalistic integrity by discussing player movement, contracts, and other stuff behind the scenes with the GM of the Brooklyn Nets. He's calling this guy on the phone and discussing this type of shit. And then Sean Marks, right? Sean Marks, look, this goes to show you how much of a weakling Sean Marks is. And I've been one of the ones that advocated for Sean Marks to be fired. Sean Marks should be fired. He should be. Sean Marks should be fired. So Joseph Tsai, that's the owner of the Brooklyn Nets. Hey, when does he plan on getting control of this this situation? What is his plan for getting control of this organization? Because right now the Brooklyn Nets look like a goddamn clown show. They look like a circus act. They look like they don't know what they're doing. The fish rots from the head down. And you got Stephen A. Smith calling Sean Marks and discussing player movement when this dude's not part of the organization. He's a part of the media. You wonder why these players don't want to talk to Stephen A? Kevin Durant don't want nothing to do with him. James Harden don't want nothing to do with him, allegedly. LeBron's can't bend off of Stephen A. Smith. These players don't want nothing to do with that motherfucker, man, because he's a goddamn snitch. He's a rat. And then this dude don't even know what he's talking about 95% of the time. He's sitting up there talking about, when the Wizards were going through their turnaround with Russell Westbrook, Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal and Thomas Bryant. Well, Thomas Bryant had a torn ACL. How the hell is Thomas Bryant one of the reasons why the Wizards had a turnaround when he was out for the year with a torn ACL? So that goes to show you that motherfucker didn't watch the Washington Wizards and all that. And then when you confront him about it, oh man, everybody make mistakes, well, when you're getting paid that kind of money and you getting that kind of status in the media, you shouldn't make mistakes like that. You cannot make mistakes like that. This dude is a fucking clown, bro. He's a clown. And all he do has become, he's nothing more than a side hole doing side shows. This motherfucker was doing goddamn UFC for crying out loud. Now, coach, if you're still in the building, right? You remember when they had this motherfucker on TV doing UFC on ESPN pay-per-view? Anytime there was a big UFC event, they had this clown on TV. Now, this dude don't know nothing about no goddamn mixed martial arts. He don't have a goddamn clue of a wrist lock versus a goddamn hammer fist or 12 and 6, which that'll get you disqualified in UFC. 12 and 6 get you disqualified in UFC, right? I know more about UFC than this motherfucker And I don't got no experience in UFC. Look, if you want advice on UFC or mixed martial arts in general, the coach is the guy to go to. All right, fellow LDBC, right? The coach is the guy to go to. Don't listen to no motherfucker like Stephen A. Smith. That bitch don't know nothing about nothing. He's not more than a damn bloviating bragging. He blather and bloviate about nothing because he can't say nothing because he don't know nothing. They literally had this motherfucker doing UFC for crying out loud, man, and it took a major backlash on social media and to get this motherfucker up out of there. Joe Rogan had issues with this motherfucker on goddamn on UFC. And then he trying to box. He got his ass in a sling trying to box. But they got him on UFC coverage. The fuck out of here. I guess they were trying to make it entertaining between him and Chael Sonnen, right? You know, Chael Sonnen was another guy that guy that continued to get his ass beat by Anderson Silva, right? A guy every time there would be a time for Chael Sonnen to be in a championship match. He will always get his ass beat, whether it be against Anderson Silva, whether it been against John Jones, right? Every time it came time for him to get ready for a belt, the fight for a belt, he always losing. Now he will win if it don't come down to him getting the belt. But when it came time to him to get in the belt, oh yeah, he always getting his ass beat. So they'll bring him in and they'll bring in Stephen A. Smith and they'll just, talk loud on TV, even though that motherfucker don't know nothing about UFC, for entertainment value. But the problem is, that shit's not entertaining. He sounds like a buffoon. Now, if they bring him in to be the host and he's sitting up there and, giving highlights and all that and lead up to the commentary for the analysts and all that, that's one thing. But then again, I don't like him doing that neither. Carolyn Bryant does more than a good enough job of that, right? But he's a clown. Then they bring him in for NBA Countdown Long with Mike Greenberg and Michael Wilbon and Jalen Rose, the girl his girl who he allegedly dating, and Molly Karam and all that. And like, that was an awkward situation and all that. I know that they're gonna keep things cordial and all that, but you gotta think in the back of Jalen Rose's head, man, he wanna punch that fucking hairline straight. That motherfucker don't know no goddamn basketball, man. He can sit up there and act like he know, but that motherfucker don't know nothing about basketball, man. Look, if it ain't an LDBC channel, man, I practically don't listen to none of them dudes, man. I don't. Right? Now, Brian Windhorst been trying to back away from being LeBron James' handler and trying to actually report the news as it comes along and all that. I don't trust Brian Windhorst, right? Look, when it comes to player movement and all that, there's only two people I trust outside the LDBC. That's Mark Stein and Shams Charania. I take that back, three people. Because the third person is Chris Haynes. He's pretty credible. So if it don't come from Mark Stein, Chris Haynes, or Shams Charania, I don't put no stock in that. Those guys have been reputable NBA sources for quite a while now. So, and they have credibility amongst the players and stuff like that. So if they say it's happening, then chances are it's going to happen. But Stephen A. Smith, he's a fucking clown, bro. Him, Colin Cowherd, Nick Wright, that Toucan Sam fuck, big nose heifer. I don't like none of the motherfuckers, bro. So I don't put no stock in that. But going back to that clown Stephen Smith. That dude has been on the jihad against Kyrie Irving for years now. And now we know why. We know why. I always had my suspicions that he would be the one to do the divide and conquer tactics and all that. What Ticket talked about last night, that confirms he was on the divide and conquer tactic. That motherfucker was on the divide and conquer regime, jihad against Kyrie and KD. All because he didn't want to go to New York. They didn't go to the Knicks. Now, had they gone to the New York Knicks, you hear this dude running his mouth all day, talk about championship. That motherfucker be having this goddamn blood pressure going up all the time, veins popping out his damn skin. Talk about, oh man, you know, KD, Kyrie, man, we have a championship. Man, this the year for my Knicks. Knicks make the playoffs, he be outside Madison Square Garden, talking shit. So you can't take no guy like that seriously, because he's compromised, biased. You in the media, you're supposed to be unbiased. Now, do we have our own inherent level of bias? Yeah, we do. But that can't be obvious. It can't be obvious. The only people in the media I can see being biased is like, say like you're a beat writer for whatever team, right? I can see you being biased. If you're a reporter or a play-by-play man, right? If you're a play-by-play man for, say, like the Brooklyn Nets or the color commentator for the Brooklyn Nets, I can see you being biased towards the Brooklyn Nets, okay? But if you're a member of the nationwide conglomerate known as ESPN, you cannot be biased. You cannot. Now, me personally, if I'm Dave Roberts of ESPN, and I find out about something like this, I'm firing Stephen A. Smith on the spot. I'm firing Stephen A. Smith. And then, you know, that dark side headline looking fuck can go on Fox News and he can, you know, chop it up with his BFF Sean Hannity, right? And they can tell you all day and all night how black people should vote Republican and all that. Like he did when he was on Fox News years ago, when ESPN cut bait with him the first time around. Now, for those of you who know who Dave Roberts is, no, I'm not talking about Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers. Dave Roberts is the guy that controls personnel movement on ESPN. He's the one that sets the shows. He's the one that assigns people to the panel and all that. Who's gonna be the host? Who's gonna be color commentator? All that stuff. Dave Roberts is the guy that does that. Now, if I'm Dave Roberts, I've seen Stephen A. Smith compromise the integrity of ESPN. I'm firing that motherfucker. Now, what's also ironic, Stephen A. Smith was the guy that went to Dave Roberts and pushed for Max Kellerman to be fired off First Take. So it'll be interesting to see what Dave Roberts do. Very interesting to see what he does. But moving on, because, you know, the more I talk about Stephen A. Smith, the more mad I'm gonna get, man. Because this dude right here, man, he a piece of shit. I don't like that motherfucker, bro. I don't. But the Nuggets gave Jokic a Supermax deal. He's coming off 2 straight MVP seasons. They got Ish Smith and Caldwell Pope. the Nuggets also signed DeAndre Jordan. Now, the one thing about DeAndre Jordan, he can definitely rest. You can be rest assured that DeAndre Jordan will not be starting for the Denver Nuggets. Okay, he will not be. Now, will they bring him in off the bench? Yeah, they'll bring him in off the bench. Play him like 10, 15 minutes, stuff like that. But we all know that's going. That offense is gonna be centered around Jokic, a returning Michael Porter Jr. and a returning Jamal Murray. Do I think the Denver Nuggets are a threat in the Western Conference? No. Now, if Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., shake off their injury history and play towards their potential and all that, and the Denver Nuggets can probably make a magical run. But do I see the Denver Nuggets as this threat in the Western Conference? No, I do not. I do not. The Knicks, they signed Jalen Brunson to a $110 million deal. Do I think Jalen Brunson is this needle mover? No, I do not. I don't see Jalen Brunson as this guy that's going to put the Knicks on this rocket to the stratosphere. No. So I don't understand what the Knicks are doing, right? They got 3 guys that they've pretty much, for all intents and purposes, paid well over $200 million. But these 3 guys here ain't no difference makers. Evan Fournier, come on, man. Evan Fournier is a Jekyll and Hyde. Will Hunter, what's up, man? One night from Evan Fournier, you might get 36 points on 10 or 15 shooting and some shit like that. And then another night for Evan Fournier, right? Do give you 10 points on 3 or 15 shooting. So when it comes to what's his face, Evan Fournier, and the Knicks paid him $71 million. Come on, man. And then Julius Randle, right? Julius Randle want to go do this number when the Knicks fans are unhappy with the performance of the team. They were getting their ass beat by the Boston Celtics. Now, they were able to come back and win that game, but he's out there booing the crowd, right? Come on, man. You don't... Oh, man. What the fuck? Oh. I'm like, come on, man. Julius Randle, I'm like, look, is Julius Randle is a good player? Yes, he's a good player. But is Julius Randle a difference maker? No, he is not. Jalen Brunson. So the Knicks severely overpays for Jalen Brunson, right? The Dallas Mavericks, for all intents and purposes, decide not to match Jalen Brunson's contract, right? And the only reason why Jalen Brunson is able to flourish like that was because of Luka Doncic. Because team was strategizing on how to contain Luka, and Jalen Brunson was able to get his numbers. But it's going to be a different dynamic where, one, Tom Thibodeau runs at one of the slowest paces in the league. Okay? 2, Tom Thibodeau preaches defense. Now, what have we known Jalen Brunson to be, this elite defender? I'll wait. Right? And then 3, the Knicks did not need to make this move. Okay? They did not need to make this move. What I suggested they would do is, you got 2 young guys like Emmanuel Quigley and Obi Toppin, right? To me, The Knicks should run their franchise around Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly. They're young. They have upside, right? Now the Knicks have been trading away players. They traded away Alec Burks. They traded away Nerlens Noel. They traded away Kemba Walker, amongst others, right? But you bring in Jalen Brunson? $110 million for Jalen Brunson? So 110, 71. So the Knicks and all they've committed almost $300 million to 3 guys that are good but not great players. What the fuck are they doing? Is this some kind of, I don't know, man, look. As long as James Dolan is the owner, I know a lot of people were excited about Worldwide West, and a lot of people were excited about, there was another guy that they had there. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. But they were excited about those guys coming in and trying to run the organization. But look, they ain't gonna go nowhere as long as James Dolan is the goddamn owner. James Dolan's a fucking idiot, bro. For real. James Dolan, the Knicks is not going to go anywhere as long as that dude is the owner, man. Now, I just don't see what they're doing. I don't see how this is going to work out. And then there was talk about firing old boy last year, Thibodeau. Because Thibodeau and his bad habits don't want to play the young players and all that, right? Julius Randle playing like shit, but he getting, dumbing down the crowd and all that, but he's still playing 30 minutes of shit. So, do I trust the Knicks? Hell no, I don't trust the Knicks. I don't trust the Knicks at all, man. I don't. It's gonna be another season. It's gonna be another season full of disappointment and agony in New York, and that's a shame too, because the Knicks deserve better, man. They do. When the Knicks do good, I think that's when the NBA does good. A lot of people say that New York was the home, the Mecca. I mean, those days. I mean, that shit's lost its luster now. And if you ask me, that shit's been lost its luster. I mean, it's a poorly ran organization. They had a decent coach in Mike Woodson that they didn't allow him to finish the job. They fired him. They bring in Derek Fisher. I mean, Derek Fisher can't coach a chicken out of an egg right now. He was a good player, but that motherfucker ain't no good coach, man. Motherfucker got fired from the Sparks in the WNBA. So, you got a dude getting fired from the WNBA, man. Come on. Right. That's what I'm saying, man. These guys ain't no damn needle movers, man. These dudes ain't no damn needle movers, and they out here getting all this money. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not one to sit up there and tell a guy not to get his money, man, but damn. You got these C- players getting A+ money. And they ain't no difference maker and no nothing. They're sitting up here telling the executives in New York, sitting up here telling you that, oh man, and we got this new signing in Jalen Brunson, and people just like going to sleep. Jalen Brunson, come on. That dude ain't no damn difference maker. Come on. So, right. So Look at all these goddamn. Look at all these darn French players getting all the $100 million contracts and shit.
Everett, might have been
Crazy.
thanking you. And thanking you.
But yo, I'm gonna get up out of here though. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, share these videos on your social media platforms. This your man, Street Man. Oh!